The stand one is always really
super
weird.
easy.
Oh, that's a hard one for me because I'll do weird things like this show, where like when I'm working heavy, where you sit down at like 10:55 and then you don't get up again until 12:05, and you just like miss those hours. But like, I don't know. That's when it sucks.
Don't you get a reminder at 50 after the 10 before the hour?
Yeah, but I don't just stand up and walk around the office in the middle of our show.
I do. Oh, not in the middle of a show.
No, but at 10:50 or at 11:50, like there's nothing I could do. I cannot get the 11 o'clock
of course
stand.
not. Yeah, who cares?
So sometimes that gets a little squirrely.
Hey, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB Strategy Show, Tuesday, July 23rd. Dave Loughran, Josh Engleman. Got another one coming at you today. Good amount of games, too, but nothing crazy. You got 11. Thank God for some of these 6 o'clock games, man. Wipe just 4 of them straight off the slate. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I
love it. I love it. I don't need those 14 and 15 game bullshits.
No, we do miss out on a Paul Skeens slate.
Yeah.
Because he's got St. Louis today. Freakishly good, that guy. It's getting to a point of absurdity, but still some damn good pitchers today. You have Sale, Logan Gilbert against the Angels. How did Bryce Miller go 7?
Be more specific. Logan Gilbert against the Angels in Seattle.
In Seattle, yes, at T-Mobile, where offense goes to die. How did by the way, I laddered him up to 7, and I get out of my hockey game last night. I get home, I take a shower, I jump in the bed. It's like midnight, and I'm like, let me see what's going on here, because that was a late game. Yeah. And I see, like, if you look at the MLB app, I don't know if you ever use it, like if you're on your phone, but you can see right when you pull up the games who's pitching right there. So it's 7th inning, and I see pitching Gilbert, and I go, okay. And what, Angels had 1 run? I'm thinking, all right. And it was 7th inning, 2 outs. And he had a 2-strike count, and he didn't get there. But he had a phenomenal start. He went.
He dominated the start. Yeah,
dominated. But
three hits. 7. No, he only allowed 3, but he allowed 3 base runners.
Right. Across 7 innings, you can't get me 6 Ks. You can't get me 7 innings. Like, I'm not even asking for a strikeout an inning with 6 Ks. Tough. But
the problem was that Tyler Anderson had 8 Ks and 3 hits allowed on the opposite side, and I had no game stacked more than this game. They had 8 total hits.
Anderson has been an enigma. Seriously, look at what he's done this year, and I think any projection model is just going to look at him negatively, but he keeps defying the odds every start he makes.
He has a 2.91 ERA and a 4.94 SIERA.
What I'm saying. He keeps defying the odds.
He has a 229 BABIP. And his fastball velocity is below 90.
He has a
6.5 Ks per 9, 3.5 walks per 9. This dude is walking a tightrope.
And we're almost in August.
I assume that he is leading the league in stepping in shit and making it work for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, stepping in shit and learning how to ice skate.
All right, so let's see. Of starting pitchers that are qualified from a playing time perspective, he is 4th in ERA minus FIP. So he's been the 4th luckiest pitcher behind Andrew Abbott, Ronel Blanco, and Marcus Stroman. Anderson has the biggest gap then between ERA and FIP.
Stroman.
Yeah, Stroman has a 3.51 ERA and a 5.14 FIP.
Wow. Well, we'll talk
Pablo
about that.
Lopez is the reverse of Anderson right now.
He's been, as I've watched a lot of those stars, paid attention to a lot of the numbers. He's been as unlucky as it gets.
Mackenzie Gore might actually hold the real crown. 4.20 ERA, 3.15 FIP, a 3.61 BABIP. He's got a 26% K rate, 9% walk rate. The walks are probably hurting him a little bit there, but these are some of the opposites of Tyler Anderson. So yeah, my biggest stacked up game was the game that was no threat. I did 2 pitchers that dominated.
Well, today we got Sale, Gilbert, Crochet. I was so pissed about that last time out.
Well, he sucks again today too, but Wheeler's there.
Well, no. I'm saying Crochet last game was the like
The
couple
2
days
inning
before
joint.
the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of Crochet. I had laddered his K props north of 10, and he goes 2 innings with 4 Ks in 28 pitches. Listen, you see 2 innings, no base run, you're like 4 strikeouts. You're going, oh, we got like I have big plus money positions on this. And I'm thinking this is like all right, here we go. And then he doesn't come back out for the third. They went with Jonathan Cannon.
I saw that report at like 6:20 or whatever. I talked to Adam, killed my projection a little bit, and then just never had him.
Yeah. I'm talking mostly from a betting perspective as far as having him, because you can't cash out of those.
No, not at all.
Anyway,
once you have it, you have it. There's nothing you can do there.
Crochet, Wheeler, Luis Heel, those are pretty much your big guns for a spot like this, but there's a couple less expensive guys that we'll get into. So glad you guys could join us. If you don't mind, take a single second, hit that thumbs up, tone for your sins on a Tuesday morning. Goes a long way for us. We appreciate you in advance. Takes a second. Subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to listen in podcast form, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever it may be, check it out. And follow Josh at Josh Engleman, me at Laffy_D on the X. Check out his show too, every Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern, over there. X exclusive, baby.
We're on YouTube too.
Oh, it is on YouTube?
Yeah.
I guess why not, right?
Correct.
Cover the bases. But yeah,
people watch on X, but nobody replies.
How does all of that reply work?
No idea.
There's a chat?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
We had Ben test it out, and his reply did get to my chat, so I saw it. Which just means that nobody else is doing it. YouTube, on the other hand, rousing.
Sale, Gilbert, Crochet, Wheeler, Luis Heel. Those are 5 guys north of 10K on DraftKings right now.
Only 3 of them matter.
So you're saying Sale, Gilbert, and Wheeler?
Yeah, it is not close. Chasms between those 3 and everybody else. I have Sales implied ownership at 42%, Wheeler at 32%, Gilbert at 30%. Luis Heel is the 4th highest number at 14%.
Luis Hill's been a weird one lately too, because he had been crushing. And then you hear it from Boone and everybody, like they ask, is he tired? You know, because he's never thrown this many pitches, this many innings. He could be tired. We don't know. And he said, I feel fine. He had 3 or 4 really miserable starts in a row. And then his last 2 starts, he's looked as dominant as he was through the first few months of the season. So I don't know what to make of Luis Heel right now. It's not the best strikeout matchup, though. It's not a great park. Like, there's not a ton to love here in this spot.
No, there's not. The park is obviously difficult. There's power. Power gets played up big time here. There's a lot of power in this projected Mets lineup. The first 7 hitters in the Mets lineup, here are the projected ISOs via Steamer. 180, 190, 180, 230, 195, 195, 200. That is death. That is a very, very difficult proposition for Luis Heel in this ballpark. Now, he doesn't have huge power issues. Righties in particular don't stand a chance. Now, anybody can go yard, but Brandon Nimmo, DJ Stewart, those are the 2 names that I'd be looking at most. I think their home run chances are up considerably here.
I mean, right now, if you're just looking at this from the top, the only reservation I'd have about Chris Sale, because I will say that if you look at Cincinnati's K number strikeout rates versus lefties and righties, it's pretty big disparity. They strike out a lot less against lefties. I think their active roster's around 21%. And
that sounds right to me.
And against righties, it's the 3rd highest in the league, behind only Seattle and Oakland. So significant difference, but it's still Chris Sale at home, just purely dominant. The only reservation I have there is the price point, because he's not just the most expensive. He's far and away the most expensive pitcher on this slate.
He's also far and away the most highly projected pitcher for me. And the piece that is really driving it for me is that implied run total for Cincinnati. Them and the Angels are at the ass end of this list, and
Angels are actually lower than the Reds.
Yeah, nobody else is close though. There's a giant gap between those two teams and everybody else, at least the way that I'm seeing it. I think this is a really nice run environment here for Chris Sale. I expect to have a lot of him. Now, that could just change based on the way stacks are priced. That could change things up. I could end up heavier on Logan Gilbert and Zach Wheeler. That'll be something we'll see. But there's no doubt to me that Chris Sale is the best overall option today.
Logan Gilbert's not far behind him. I know he doesn't have the same strikeout stuff, but I mean, you're talking best park. You and I went over this a lot yesterday. Best park in the league, hands down.
Yep.
Park factor, runs scored,
phenomenal
across the board. Just a phenomenal park. Gilbert doesn't have the same extreme home and road splits, but it's not like he's been bad at home. You know, still 27.5% K rate. He's only a 191 batting average to opponents at home. So you're talking about just, they're not getting on base. And he's just got excellent stuff. He's expensive, no doubt. But, you know, win equity here is pretty big. Yeah. You know, if you're playing on like some of these other sites where you get the quality start, that's another one. That's another feather in the cap. Like there's just a lot to like here. And the Angels have a 3.1 team total. Renifil may be back today for what it's worth. I'm not saying that's a be all end all, but he is pretty good. And having him out of the lineup has made them even worse. But their active roster right now is second to the bottom, second to last in WRC plus for his right-handed pitching. They've been trash.
Yeah. And like, it's not an incredible strikeout matchup or anything like that, but the floor here for Logan Gilbert just feels so high. Like if it works correctly and you can grab a couple extra strikeouts, obviously that feels good. And that's how you get those like really crazy scores. It just feels so easy for him to get to 20 today with like next to no effort. So I can't wait to see how that goes wrong. What's his alt lines? Okay. 9+ strikeouts. What do you think the alt line is?
On Gilbert?
Yeah.
9+. Well, tell me this. What he's at, I would assume he's at 6.5 is the standard.
Correct.
Plus 390.
Fuck off.
What is it? Am I right? Am I spot on?
Spot on.
God damn, I'm good. I was looking at you the whole time, dude. You could see me in the camera. I'm staring. When I
have no idea what you're looking at right now, but I don't think you looked at it, but I clearly have no idea what's in front of your face.
I'm looking at you. Jordan knows how this works. Like my camera's right here. I have the other monitor here. I'm looking at your face. Yeah. Okay.
Plus 390. I thought you were going to go a lot higher than that.
No, I figured if it's 6.5, and I assume the juice isn't heavy on either side. Like
not really. Heavy. Slightly to the under, oddly enough, which might have thrown you off there. Plus 210 for 8+. He gets 8 strikeouts today. 30-something% of the time, 8 or more.
Yeah.
I have his top 2 pitcher odds at 31%. That seems to be in line with what we're getting here. I love Logan Gilbert today. He might be the easiest dude to get to.
Yeah. And I know you feel the same way, but the park just always makes such a difference. Like when you're,
it does.
You know,
90 park factor for runs, 89 park factor for righty power, and still below average for lefty power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Crochet's the type of guy that's going to be difficult to get to.
He's just like all these other guys are supposed to go like 17, 18 outs, and he's projected for 15. Like, what can you do?
That's the problem. I mean, my God, he's good.
Not to mention terrible strikeout matchup, and the Rangers are actually like a real offense.
Correct. But again, like I understand why he's this price, just because Garrett Crochet's really good. But It is tough. The 15 and a half, the 15 and a half outs prop. Oh, it almost looks like they could be, this could be something surrounding like possibly tamping down his workload a little bit to close the season out, honestly, because
I don't think they're going to let him loose again.
no, he has no business. By the way, the over or the under is juiced on that. So I think pretty heavily, actually.
By the way, the White Sox are the worst team in baseball by 10 wins. They have 10 less wins than the Rockies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At one point, they were pacing like 23 wins on the year.
They are projecting via FanGraphs. So that's like, it's not just like, oh, we're keeping that same pace. 52 and 110 is their projected record.
Really?
Yeah, they are fucking terrible.
What was, you might remember this. I'm not asking.
The Tigers?
No, I remember the Orioles several years ago. I felt like the Orioles were.
I thought the Tigers have the record, but
They
they
probably do. But I remember, didn't the Orioles, maybe I'm misremembering. Like I thought the Orioles had a crazy bad year. Like
yeah. So the Orioles in 2018 had 47 wins.
Okay.
The Tigers team that I'm thinking of in 2003 had 43. That's the record for the like in theory modern era. 6 teams were worse than that, but that happened in 1919, 1904, 1935, 1916.
Were those 162 game seasons still?
No, they were 154 then, I think.
Okay.
But even if you wanted to go by like win percentage, it's still those other teams. The only team that's even close to modern is the 62 Mets, but that's not, they weren't a real team prior to that that's their first year.
Okay, so Tigers. Yeah, I remember Baltimore recently having that terrible season.
The Orioles had 47 wins in 18, and the Tigers 2019 team also had 47 wins, but Tigers 03 team. I remember that team. Oh my God. Oh my God. They were running out like a bunch of rookie arms that I think they lost 20 games. If I remember that correctly. I think they had somebody lose 20 games. Why can't I remember that dude's name?
Either way, back to what I was saying.
Yeah, Mike Moroth. He went 9-21, and Bonderman went 6-19.
Wow. Crochet's
this team is awful. I barely recognize names on this team.
Oh yeah, well that's how you know they're terrible. There's no reason Garrett Crochet should have that prop unless you expect him to be highly limited in a spot like this, or not even highly limited, just not, because this is a guy, he's been really a workhorse this season. Like he consistently goes 6+ frames, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't see any reasonable path to to getting him unless you're 150 maxer.
And the matchup stinks too, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah, he doesn't have a single thing going for him here.
No. If this was, a home matchup against the Rockies, I might go, I'm not kidding either. Like at 9,800, there's a very real possibility that I could go like 5 innings, 10 strikeouts from Crochet could get me there and he could do it,
Yeah.
But it's not. It's
like the opposite of that.
Yes. Yes. You like Wheeler today?
I do. I think he looks a lot like Logan Gilbert overall. Obviously a slightly different matchup. You have Minnesota on the opposite side. Now, they are a really nice strikeout matchup. If it's Castro, Larnack, Buxton, that's a lot of strikeouts right at the top. Wallner and Julien both strike out like 30% of the time. The Twins are better. Well, they're probably pretty equal to Cincy. I'd say that they're better than the Angels. Park is neutral. Wheeler just looks like he's in a standard, like, good spot.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Minnesota also, they scare me more against lefties. That isn't to say that they're not just a pretty good baseball team. But
yeah, they're middle of the pack in WRC plus. It's 103 against righties. They're 18th in strikeout rate, but they do have some guys that like have a bunch of strikeouts. It's just like a completely innocuous spot
Yeah,
for Zach
it's
Wheeler.
an average spot for a well above average pitcher.
Yep.
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't mind this spot at all. Now, I mentioned to you yesterday, Wheeler's home road splits are weird. I don't want to buy too much into that. I really don't. They are they are dramatic. I'm sorry, but they are. But you look at this, and I think, let me make sure that I'm not just wrong here.
You're good. You're 257 FIP at home, 440 on the road.
Okay, but here's
strikeout rate is down 5%. Walk rate is up. It's stark.
It's odd. But also the reason that I don't think it's too crazy, he had one start in June against Baltimore, 8 runs, just got blasted, right? Gave up 4 home runs. Mind you, this is a guy on the season who's allowed 11 home runs. Like, that's more than a third of his home runs in one game. And then he gets smacked around by Miami. It was just an awful start. It happens to all of these guys. Both of them were on the road. I look at these other road starts, and honestly, he's been pretty damn good. It's been mostly a couple spots that, I don't want to read too far into this. I really don't. Look if you just look at his game logs, Josh, because he's only made 8 starts on the road. Outside of those 2 starts, he's been not just as good, but he's been perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. It doesn't create any sort of huge adjustment for me.
No.
I anticipate having in and around the field of him. I assume one of those 3 of Sale, Gilbert, and Wheeler, I end up like 2x the field on. I have no idea who that's going to be right now.
Yeah, I would say more than anything, to your point originally, Sale, Gilbert, Wheeler, honestly, in that order for me. If you wanted to make an argument and say Gilbert, Sale, fine, but I think it's Sale, Gilbert, Wheeler in order of pricing is how I would prefer them today in that high price range.
On paper, it's Sale, Wheeler, Gilbert for me, but just in my mind, I feel so much more comfortable with Logan Gilbert than Zach Wheeler today.
All right. How about some of these mid-range guys?
I got one. Care to guess?
Sure, I'll guess.
I really only think there's one guy worth talking about.
Can you give me a range?
Yeah, he plays today.
Salary range?
5,300 to 10,500.
Why are you trying to be difficult with me?
What do you mean? Come on, man. We've talked about like 4 dudes. There's like 12 pitchers possible here. Would you prefer me to just tell you?
No. There's 17 possible if we talked about 4.
Yeah, but like I'm not asking you to tell me that I think that it's Ty Block today, man. Come on.
All right. Soriano.
Nailed it. See, how hard was that? I didn't even have to narrow it down.
All right. Soriano. He's probably going to be pretty popular today.
I think he's the best guy you can save any salary on. 24.5% K rate to righties over the past year and a half. Much worse this year. So we're relying a little bit more on last year. Lots of strikeouts in this Seattle lineup. I have their aggregate K rate at 26%. That is pretty high for anybody. If we look at just righty strikeout rates for the active roster, I would like to click on that information, but Seattle's active roster is striking out more than any team in baseball. 28.6% K rate to righties this year. Dude, the next closest team is Oakland at 26. 2.6% ahead of second. That's an insane gap.
And you know what's even crazier? They've been that way all year long.
Yeah. So massive strikeout matchup for Soriano, who's like,
I agree,
an average strikeout guy.
Yeah, he's around average. I would guess, what is he, like 20%, 19, 20? He's probably a little bit below average.
Not to mention, it's not just Logan Gilbert that gets the benefit of pitching in Seattle. Jose Soriano also gets the exact same benefits. I think he's the value guy you get to. It's weird. Yesterday, I stacked
20%.
the Mariners and the Angels more than any other teams yesterday. Today, I expect to be on their pitching.
And you know what that means?
12-11 Mariners win.
Sorry, I got distracted. A buddy of mine sent me it's a tweet. In the caption, there's a video, but I haven't clicked. I'm professional. I'll wait till the show's over. Today, a pirate boat tried to board a container ship, and the workers pulled out 2 machine guns and blew up the speedboat. Can't wait to watch that.
I watched a video yesterday of a guy that rolls up to like a truck on the road with some road rage, and he has a gun in his hand, and he like bangs on the truck like 2 or 3 times.
Self-defense, I saw it.
And that guy just, dude in the truck, just put him away.
He should have.
Yep.
You do not brandish a firearm, walk up to someone's car and not expect.
You better be ready to know if you were ready to bring your gun out, you got to be ready for the other person to put one in your chest first. If you're not willing to fire that the moment you get to that guy's door, you are the person that made the mistake.
Yep. And by the way, he got off as he should have. Like he was 100% self-defense.
Yeah. You see that video of that guy rapping on the car with a gun. There's one answer and one answer only, and that is put him away.
I was in the car with my sister once, and we were at a light, and someone that I've never met, I did nothing. He was just insane. Walked up to my car, I had the windows, I didn't even see him, had the windows open, and put a knife up to my neck. Yeah. Put a knife up to my neck. Never seen him in my life. Had no clue who he was. And then ran away like with a maniacal laugh.
I would want to get out and beat that person senseless.
Yep. With like 3 other people in the car. This must have been a dare. But when I look over, my sister's just like pale white. And yeah. So I'm very alert now. I'm always driving, like look at, yeah. But Jordan, pull up the video of the guy on the bicycle with the bus that I sent you the other day. No,
I don't think you're gonna. I don't think.
Don't. No, I'm kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it.
No, that was insane.
Coward.
That was insane. Soriano's the best in that range. You're right. Like I don't. You know what the problem is? How many of these guys just look similar, and not in a good way? Like Tyon against Milwaukee, Barrios against Tampa Bay, Knack against San Francisco. These guys all look like, even Marsh against Arizona, they look like the same. I'm not saying they're the same pitcher, but from like a DFS percent, they just all look the same. They're underwhelming, all of them across the board.
Yeah, it's real. Sale, Gilbert, and Wheeler are really taking everything. I mean, I have their aggregate implied ownership is at least one of them in every lineup that gets built, and everybody else gets to build out the other 100%. Yep. It's so thin, and like you're not rostering Nick Martinez, Tyler Alexander, Ty Block, Jordan Montgomery, Osvaldo Bido. I mean, even like Marsh to me is a problem. Like there is a sea of garbage at the bottom too that is full stop unrosterable.
John Gray too. They're not letting him throw any pitches. Like
no, he looks all right at 7K, but like his outs prop is 15.
I know, because look at his pitch. They're not letting him go deep into games. The last time, you know, when the last time he's thrown 80 pitches was, Josh? It
not
was
recent.
May 15th.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, it's not like he's laboring either. You know, 5 innings, 73 pitches, 6 innings, 72 pitches, 5 innings, 78. If you're not limited, he's got several 7-inning games worked into the mix. If he's just not limited, if
you knew he wasn't limited today, he would be the most popular pitcher
without question. It's 7K. If John Gray, you know, he could go 90, 100 pitches against the White Sox at home.
He's the number 1 pitcher today.
Yep. Unquestioned. Do you think he's still semi-viable? Just like you said, but 75 pitches.
Yeah.
I mean,
I figure he's like 10% owned. Is my guess.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, probably around 10%, which I think is probably fine.
Yeah, he's only saved by the fact that I mean, it's an interesting dynamic with Crochet and Gray against each other. Two guys that are just like unnaturally limited. Crochet's price hasn't been changed, so he becomes a problem. Gray's price is lower, but is like a value-ish dude. It's just really it's a lot of Sale Gilbert Wheeler. I hope I have a ton of them. And then somebody's going to be under-owned, and that'll become the guy, but I just don't know who that's going to be just yet.
What about old SWJ? No, first of all, I almost said SJW.
Yeah,
what about
let's get the social justice warriors out there tonight.
What about SWR against Philly?
Pass. Hard pass.
I try to leave no stone unturned here. I'm trying to.
We could have left that stone alone.
We probably could have left it unturned. Yes.
Yeah.
You ever been to Ringing Rock?
No, that sounds like a made up Rolling Rock. Yeah, I've had a few
Ringing Rocks. I thought you may have, because it's not that far from where you grew up, where like the rocks ring, and like if you tap on them, it's essentially like no one knows how they ended up there.
I have never heard of this.
Huh.
Which is really interesting, given the fact that it is as close to.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that far. There's a lot of inexplainable or unexplainable boulder fields in Pennsylvania. My guess is during the Younger Dryas, Josh. I've listened to my Randall Carlson before. Like the glaciers started to melt and just pushed them all into a spot, and that's where they subsided. But yeah, I'm surprised you never heard of that. Some people in this chat probably have.
I know. I know now that I like look it up and look where it's at on the map, I'm surprised that I didn't know.
Speaking of Pennsylvania, by the way, if you guys are in PA, or it even says it on the site, I couldn't believe it.
Do this read. I'm grabbing a water.
Or even if you were just physically located in Pennsylvania at the time of registering, Bet365, God, I'm so happy about this, finally went live in Pennsylvania. They were supposed to go live in PA like before last football season, because they always have the best sign-up bonuses, right? And it's also one of the oldest online, most trustworthy, innovative sports books, like online sports books out there. They started live in-game betting and so many other things. They're live in PA. There's a link in the description and in chat. I just signed up yesterday. It went live yesterday. Bet $5, get $150. And if you're not in PA, all of the other states that they're legal in have Bet365 as well. So if you're in one of, Jordan can throw it up on the screen where it's around, but PA just went live yesterday. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. Just deposit 10, only bet 5, and get 50 free casino spins. So $150 in bonus bets plus 50 free casino spins for betting $5. That's it. Deposit 10, bet 5. That settles. You're locked in. $150 plus 50 casino spins. Very good stuff. Like I said,
you take advantage of those casino spins yet?
I haven't. I'm waiting. But yeah, jump in, man. Link in the description and in chat. They're also in what? New Jersey, Virginia, Ohio, Iowa. They're in like 9 or 10 other states, and they all have great sign-up offers. So make sure if you're in one of those, jump in. But yeah, I'm stoked about that. Anyway.
As you should be.
Maybe there aren't any other good pitchers on this slate at all.
We got ownership as of 3 minutes ago. Do you want to hear the pitch?
Yeah, let me hear it.
All right. We have Chris Sale, 38. Okay, here we go. This is fun. Who do you think is the second highest owned pitcher?
I saw it. It's Wheeler, but I would have thought it was Gilbert, honestly.
Wheeler, then Gray.
Oh,
Soriano,
I didn't see that one.
Soriano, and then Gilbert at 19%.
And by the way, our projections take into account like a lot of Vegas stuff too. So this isn't ignoring.
Logan Gilbert, based on his ownership, is the best pitching option on today's slate.
if he really comes in just around 20% against this Angels team, my God.
Ermagerd.
Is there anyone we talked about that's not getting any ownership?
I'm gonna be able to give you an answer to that question in
There really isn't.
in a
No,
second.
there isn't.
Because I'm refreshing my personal ownership now.
These guys are
Bang.
highly underwhelming.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Good. Now I got it.
Man, Tyler Alexander's mustache is pretty wild.
Luis Heel got to 15. Crochet's at 15. I'd be surprised if he gets there, but I hope he does. He is unrosterable at 15 to me. Yeah, as I look at it now, I think I like Logan Gilbert the most relative to everybody. But I said I had Chris Sale's implied ownership at 41%. He's essentially 41. I have Gilbert and Wheeler a little bit higher, and I'm a little bit lighter on Gray and Soriano.
Lighter on Gray and Soriano?
Soriano, 17 or something like that. That's a little bit higher than I was expecting. Still looks good, though. But no, I mean, like, Woods Richardson, 7. Like, it's everything that we talked about was spot on. Crochet came in a little higher than we would have expected. Or a little bit higher than I would have expected. That's about it.
Like you said, wouldn't be surprised to see that change. At all. Einsteinium, what's up, brother? Yo, he just hit us up. Was it this morning?
I don't know.
Yeah, this morning. Appreciate you guys always answering my question and providing great entertainment and analysis. Second time in 3 days, took second in the 121 single entry. So nice 4K win for our boy Einstein. Oh, Einsteinium's always supporting the channel, so I'm always happy when that happens.
Me too.
Also, nice to see you got the new avatar up there, Einsteinium. Love it. Dude, I'm seeing a lot of those in the leaderboards now. The new ones from the new Hall of Fame page. Makes me happy.
I need to change mine.
Yeah, I got one. I got a nice one up there. Kind of like metallic. Pretty sweet. You should. Go in and pull one out.
I like the old Osimo one that I had, man. I made my own little custom one, made some high. I lost it.
I got the one on the far right. Looks pretty sweet. But yeah, stochastic.com/HOF. Just literally take one of those avatars, use it wherever it is you play, finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, and tweet us your wins at stochastic HOF on Twitter. That's it. You can get, first win is you get a month, and it could be in the quarter arcade. It doesn't matter. First win, you get a month of Sims, $200 value. When I say Sims, it's all of our MLB or whatever sport you want. Second time you win, yes, you can do it multiple times. You get another month plus a free week of another single sport. Third time you get all access, $550 value. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. It's just like more free stuff coming your way in the event that you happen to win.
Who doesn't want free things?
I would agree. Plus, the avatars look sick too. Like now they look sick. So yeah. And if you hit a 20K or more, you get the Stochastic Hall of Fame ring in the display case. I actually tried to send, he won't DM me back for his address, but they're pretty cool. You got that, right? And then you toss it in there. Check this out. Ready?
You peeling that off your C right now? Is that a C ring?
No, ready? So you get the ring. You drop the ring. Put it in here. Close it up.
Ring to rule.
I mean, it's a cool commemorative thing. And then sucker spins for you. So you got that in your display case. Pretty cool stuff, man. You get some nice lighting behind that. All about it. But,
you'll be sending me one tonight.
By the way, I'm going to. I got Greg one on the way for his PGA win.
Good.
Valentino, I'm loving this free month. Hell yeah, brother. Let's talk about some bats then.
Let us do that.
All right, because we got all this updated now. Boston has to just be at the top by a mile. I haven't looked yet. I'm pulling it up now. They have to be at the top by a mile. Ty Block hasn't thrown more than 39 pitches in over a month, but I don't know how much it matters. Either one, they have to just let him go deeper because they went 12 innings yesterday, exhausted 6 pitchers, or two, they already arguably have the worst bullpen in the league. And then you're just going up against bad relief pitchers at Coors Field where they have a 6.5 run total. Yeah.
Whether Ty Block is pitching or someone else is pitching, they're bad for Colorado. 17.5% top stack odds for Boston. I have it at a crisp 17.3. So it all feels about right. 11% ownership. They're the number one stack. I see no debate in that statement. If you could afford them, great, go for it. They look really good. They're not the cleanest stack in the world. First 6 hitters, outfield, catcher, third, outfield. Not ideal. Still transcends everything. And they've been in Colorado now for at least a game. So 6.7 run implied total is what I have. Yeah, they're gonna kick the they're ready to kick the shit out of Colorado.
There were 28 hits in that game yesterday.
It started out really quiet too. Boston didn't have any runs for a while.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Tanner Houck got tuned up a little bit. He limited the damage in the sense that, he only gave up 4 runs, but he gave up double-digit hits yesterday. 13 base runs. I don't know if he hit any batters, but between hits and walks, 13 base runners.
Yeah.
How do you still go? Hold on a second, real quick. How do you go 6 innings on 92 pitches with 10 hits, 4 runs, and 3 walks? That in its own right is crazy.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Not a stat line you typically see.
Pretty amazing stuff. Outside of Boston, because clearly they look very good. But where else do we look towards?
I like the Diamondbacks and Royals individually better than we do. We have the Royals 5% top stack. I have it 7 and change. We have Diamondbacks 7 and change. I have the Diamondbacks closer to 10. That said, the Royals are 5th in ownership. The Diamondbacks are 4th. Their stack scores are right around where their ownership should be. So while they're both kind of chalky, I think Arizona and Kansas City definitely deserve an eye. Obviously, Boston and Colorado do based on their implied totals. After that, I don't know. I think the Philadelphia Phillies are pretty dramatically underowned. I'm a much bigger believer in the Phillies right now than our numbers are. We have 4.5% top stack odds. I have it at 6.5. I think the Phillies are the 5th best overall stack. They're 14th in ownership. They just happen to be very expensive.
Yeah, and now that they're healthy, they're even more difficult to get to.
Yeah. But they rank pretty highly for me just relative to ownership. Actually, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Relative to ownership. The Giants are probably a little sneaky. The Phillies, the Brewers. Yeah, the Royals are probably, at least to me, a little underowned given their upside and their price.
Yankees are coming up overowned against Quintana today.
I would agree with that pretty dramatically. I think the Blue Jays are pretty dramatically overowned as well.
Blue Jays
are 3rd in ownership right now because they're the number 1 value stack on the day. I don't need that at all in my life.
Yeah, this is a tough one because Tyler Alexander's been bad.
Also true.
I mean, he's been rough. You start looking at some of you want to look at just the surface numbers on him or underlying metric, whatever you want to look at. It's been a really, really bad season for him.
So and it's not like there's a ton of ownership coming into the Blue Jays. Like it's 9% in the aggregate, which is 3rd. But outside of Vlad being 15, nobody else is more than 10. And they only have 3 guys that are more expensive. Again, outside of Vlad, they only have 2 guys more expensive than 4K. And it caps at 4,500. So, like, I get why they're getting ownership. They also have 4 guys in their projected lineup with MPEs. They're incredibly flexible and incredibly cheap. That's just the natural thing that I don't want. When it's the optimizer, like, team where they just naturally fit into things. I want to run away from that as much as I can.
That is the problem. Because Alexander, listen, over 2 home runs per 9 this season, 19% K rate, 11% barrel rate, and a sub 30% ground ball rate. All of that stuff you look at, you go, man, that's a great spot to stack against him. The problem, and you nailed it, you see this all the time with like, you see it in a lot of sports. I'd say primarily baseball, maybe hockey too. I don't really play DFS hockey, but I would assume if you have like a not expensive team, an inexpensive team against just like a terrible defensive team with bad goal, that they're, you know what I mean? They're going to pop because it's similar, but this is a basketball too, honestly. But a lot of times, you know what that happens to be? That is just like cheap teams with a lot of injuries. The difference with this is that with baseball, the difference with baseball is it funnels you to the same pitchers as well.
It does. You get a very common build if you're using the Blue Jays side of this one. And you got to start looking for different pitching at that point.
And they lost Bo Bichette, right? So he's down. So now this team gets even cheaper. Outside of Vlad and Springer, who aren't even like, there's nobody above 4,800. Horwitz is 42. Then these guys are just dirt cheap. This is going to be the way to get the like Wheeler Sale lineups.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. Full pass. I hope until I rerun this shit and they're my most exposed team.
Oh, this is pretty crazy, actually.
They won't be, but
I'm just plugging in out of curiosity. Like, let's say a 5-man Toronto stack, and nobody dirt cheap. No one dirt cheap. You can plug a 5-man Toronto stack in with Sale and Wheeler and actually do it relatively comfortably.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
I'm just saying it leads me to think that Toronto actually ends up being more popular than we have them right now.
I hope they do. Because I don't expect that to be a team that I'm getting to. I'm anticipating getting to... I think I'm going to end up with some White Sox. I think that I'm going to end up with some Rangers. I think I'm going to end up with a bunch of Philly. And then I'm probably going to be stacking against one of those 3 top arms, and I'm going to hate it.
Muhammad said jamming in Royals against Montgomery. Yeah, that's always an interesting one, too, because Montgomery was, he's been terrible. I think it was you and me who actually said we almost felt bad for the guy. Remember when he said he's like, I feel like a piece of crap.
Yeah. They're popular. They're already 5th in ownership.
Yeah.
And I think they look better than we do.
But he's coming off the IL. Like, what happens if sometimes guys come off the IL? Blake Snell's a perfect, perfect. Like almost, he's a perfect comp.
Yeah.
Not that Montgomery's ever been as good as Snell, but when Montgomery was healthy and good, he was actually a good lefty.
Oh yeah.
Never a guy you wanted to stack against. What if he just comes back from the IL and he's kind of fixed?
Could be. It's not crazy. He has been a good pitcher in the past. Been a bit, but I like the Royals side a lot. Look, only Miguel Garcia is north of 10% ownership. Bobby Witt is 6. Now, granted, he's expensive, but like I anticipate getting a lot of Bobby Witt as like filler shortstop if I'm saving enough salary.
Einsteinium asked, what about the Dodgers against Hicks? It is at Dodger Stadium and not in San Francisco.
They're just so expensive at the top. They look all right. We have them 9th in top stack overall. That's not great for the Dodgers.
It's really not. It's funny too, because Hicks has been good, but he's not elite.
No.
Doesn't have elite strikeout stuff. He's done a good job of limiting power, but not to the point where you would ignore him or be terribly scared of going up against him.
No.
Man, Atlanta has a 4% top stack probability against Nick Martinez.
That's twice as high as where I have it.
Really?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they get Nacho Alvarez into the salary file by the end of today, because he's hitting in the 2-hole right now for Atlanta with Albies out. Otherwise, they're down a second baseman and they only have 8 hitters in their lineup, which makes everything a lot harder. And I guess we saw earlier Austin Riley not going to be in the lineup. He's on the paternity list. I think I saw that it was Riley.
You're right. It is. A lot of these guys hitting the paternity list.
So this is not the same Braves team.
No.
With no Albies, no Riley, no Acuna. Who else am I missing that's hurt?
Harris.
Like, yeah. I mean, that we're talking about 4 of the 9 guys that would normally be in this lineup. So I am not a fan of Atlanta today.
Yeah, the more you look at it, you're right. Man,
I'm not a fan, but like they don't grade out well.
They've been dealt a rough hand. You saw Max Friedman on the IL as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Strider already out. Tough year for me being a Braves fan.
That's tough. Yeah, because if they're healthy, it's Strider, Ronaldo Lopez, Fried, Charlie Morton. It's a pretty good.
Well, I mean, they were like a World Series favorite, and now they're not going to make the playoffs.
They'll make the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to make it. I hope they don't make any moves to try to do that.
Man, it's just so shitty. And I'm a Phillies fan, but when it's 162 game season, it's like 6 months long.
It's a grind, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 86% to make the playoffs, so I'm with you there. But
yeah,
it's getting worse and worse.
Right. Wait, 86% to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should still make it.
I mean, if it depends how long all these guys end up being out. You can't keep lopping off starters.
That's also true. Any other spots here?
I'm running all my stuff now, but it's probably going to be 5 minutes, so no.
What about? Hold on a second.
Hit me with somebody.
Hold on, let me just see something.
All right.
I don't want to get ahead of my skis.
I wouldn't know. I don't ski.
I was going to say Oakland against Jake Bloss. Like, is that just a spot where this team goes completely unnoticed? And
I mean, they have enough power.
That's what I'm saying. They do have power. This team has legitimate power. We saw it right before the All-Star break. They put up 18 against Philly. They've had days where they're just the team you need. So yeah, surely it's not a team that's going to do it more often than they aren't. But truthfully, most teams aren't. Like they have power. They actually have a lot of power.
Let's look.
Go ahead.
I think they're a little bit too far down the list. Like, they're not getting a ton of ownership, but I think that there are better. Like, what do you think of the Giants today? Snacks, nothing. Good park, good enough power. Easy-ish to stack. Not all that expensive. Unowned, though. 2.5% ownership, 3.9% stack score. I think they're a little underrepresented today.
I could see that. Yeah, I don't hate it. I actually think a lot of these teams down here, even the Cubs, because Colin Ray has been one of the luckier pitchers in baseball as well this year.
I kind of like the Brewers side more than the Cubs side.
Yeah.
Just a little bit less ownership, like a full percentage point. Cubs are 5.3, Brewers are 4.2. But we have the Brewers with a higher stack score than the Cubs.
So Oakland has a 175 ISO on the active roster. That is 6th in baseball.
That's a big number, man.
That's 6th in baseball. That's crazy.
That's a big number.
I don't think Jake Bloss has really proven anything either to where you're like, oh yeah, you got to stay away from this guy.
No, not at all.
That game in general could be interesting.
I don't disagree there. I'm going to have results relatively quickly if we want to take a look at them. and then get out of here.
Just, it's funny too, because this game, Houston and Oakland, it's in Oakland. It still has a 9-run total.
Yeah.
It's a big number for Oakland.
It's not a park that loves power. And that run total is implying a little bit more power might be in that game than we're expecting.
Might be a sneaky spot.
It just might be. All right. This little sim is done.
All right, let's see what you got.
Oh, I don't mean done like that. I'm not done, but I'm close to done. 14,671. I have one more step in the analysis. We're almost there. We got nowhere to be, People want the goods. People want to know where we stand. I assume everybody watching this show wants to know who to fade when I tell them who to play. I have a knack, not a Landon knack, but just a regular knack for picking the teams that are going to score 3 runs or less each day. I'm like really good at it.
So maybe not even just a fade, but grab the opposing pitchers.
Yeah, that's probably a decent idea too.
All right, give them the goods when you're ready. This could be interesting.
30 seconds. Now,
it is funny too, because I know
incorrect.
You'll use our post-contest simulator, which is a insanely valuable tool, because it at least tells you, like, hey, maybe you're not.
I'm not going to have any data.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I can't explain to you why, but trust me.
You just pulled a Biden.
I dropped out of the race and I'm dead.
Well, yeah, every day it's like we're still in this race. We're truth tellers fighting. And then
I don't even think he's in this human race any longer.
Do you think he may no longer be with us?
I do.
Really? What would you guys put the odds at that?
I don't think he's been with us for a while.
That phone call yesterday was super weird. I don't know if you heard it, where he just like called in the Kamala's thing and he's like, "Hey, love you, kid." Like, all right.
I did not.
Would you say like 70% alive? 50%, 50-50?
Let's say 70% alive.
Okay, so there's a chance.
There's a chance. A very, very small chance.
We haven't seen him in like a week now.
No. I'm telling you, man, he dead, yo.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, I actually do now think that I'm going to have an answer. Oh, what did I copy over? It's going to take me a minute because I definitely copied over some shit that I shouldn't have copied over.
Anyway, yeah, if you guys do use the Sims, don't sleep on the post-contest simulator. Like, you should use it every day after you play to see where your lineups rank, to see what your Sim ROI is, because Josh talks about it all the time. Like, it's just such a volatile sport that you're going to have good lineups that just don't do well. But if you know that you're consistently building good lineups, don't change anything, or you're not. And then change something. That's the simplest way I can put it. You know
what a wordsmith.
Links in the description and chat.
That was thrilling, dude.
Sometimes you don't need, sometimes you just have to speak like the everyday layman, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Oh, now I actually think that I might be able to do this.
Jordan, do me a favor. You ran the Sims. What? For everybody still watching, do me a favor, Jordan. Go to, okay, so you're, yep, I had a feeling this was going to be, so I'm looking at our exposures. Scroll to the top of exposures, Jordan, for me.
Well, you're a terrible producer.
You closed out of the Sim. All right, hold on. Let me
That's a good idea. You close out of the stuff that we use on the show.
He gets that new Mustang and now he's a big shot.
Don't make me make fun of him on the show.
I'm gonna go back and find it because I want to see something.
Okay. Well, I will have an answer by the time you get to whatever you're doing.
I can't find it.
See, it's you get all that pressure and then all of a sudden can't get it done.
I wanted to know what I wanted to see like how much of Sale and Gilbert I was getting because I have a sneaky suspicion that we were going to end up okay, so 60% Sale, Wheeler, not a ton of Gilbert. I just wanted to see what our stack exposure looked like, right? Because like if we're getting a lot of Boston, how are you making Boston work? It's not as easy as just playing Boston.
No. All right. I have my stuff done. I'm pasting it into my sheet now. Cool. Everything's backwards.
Someone said Jordan red band Klein.
I wish.
Yeah, I don't see the stack exposures on here. I mean, pretty much, if you're playing Sale, you're not. I don't see any other. Here, let me put it to you this way while you do this. Try and multitask with me for a second here.
We're good.
What are the ways to play, Sale and Wheeler or Sale and Gilbert? That's Toronto, probably White Sox against Gray would be one of them. Because Oakland's not even, I don't even think Oakland's that cheap, right?
Nothing crazy.
Outside of Brent Rooker, actually, they are not that expensive. So
I
that's
don't think they had the best
spot.
value. Let me look. I mean, we have them 14th in top value.
I know. Sweet. All right. Just go favorite 150, Jordan. Go to exposures and then after go to pitchers. And then I
And I
want
have
to see
mine whenever we're ready.
Okay, cool. So we can go through this real quick before we go. Let me pin this. So Sale, Criswell. Wow. Woods, Richardson, Wheeler, Gray.
Ooh, okay. Not what I was expecting.
So this is my guess, though. I guarantee we go to stack exposure and it's just loads of Boston. Because why go to stack exposure?
I have 5% Boston.
Oh my God, I couldn't have been more wrong.
I only have 2 teams north of 10% in stack. My pitching is exactly what I was expecting.
Usually the Sims love jamming Boston in these spots and then getting different at pitchers. That's at least what I've always seen. But a lot of, how about that Houston, which we just talked about that game being sneaky. Houston is the highest exposed 5-man stack.
I have 2%. Do you want to guess my number 1 team? I'm not confident I said them today.
Do I even have a shot?
I'm not surprised now that I see it. They're getting love. They're not unowned.
Let's see.
By the way, I have 48% Sale, 38% Wheeler, 28% Gray, 10% Logan Gilbert. Hate it. And the thing that I didn't expect to see is 16% Cooper Criswell. And I don't know what team he's on.
He's on Boston against Colorado today in Coors.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have Cooper Criswell then.
He's the one that I said looked like Al Gore from the Man Bear Pig episodes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's got to be Arizona or Tampa. Am I right?
I don't know. Show some gumption and pick one of those teams, and maybe you'll be right.
Tampa against Berrios.
Nailed it. 15%.
I'm on a heater today.
You are. Do you want to guess my second team? This is a team that I thought that I would have a lot of.
Philly.
Correct.
Okay.
So I got big stand on Rays and Phillies. Pretty flat on pitching, which I'm happy with. And then I have like incremental amounts of I'm 2x on the Brewers, the White Sox, the Angels, the Mariners, the Giants. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here.
That Toronto spot's going to be popular. I think it's
Go
going to be more
Rays.
popular than we think.
And I'm miles under on the Blue Jays.
Well, you got to piss again.
Soon.
This is getting out of control.
No, I only got water last time. I didn't piss.
Oh, okay.
I was just thirsty.
Hey, appreciate you guys. You're the best. Bill said you must be cheating off your 4 for 4. The 390 one was impressive. The other ones are doable.
I mean, Rays is good.
It was pretty good. Doing these shows with you, I kind of know what your stuff spits out in the sense of like, not obviously specific matchups and stuff, but just things that are kind of different from everything else.
Yeah.
Home run calls from Envious.
Fuck, we did it again.
Thank you for reminding. No, let's do it. We got it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Start throwing your home run calls. We get almost 200. Start throwing your home run calls in the chat because we shall be building out a home run parlay. We will hit one. And when
FanDuel,
we do,
right?
And when we do, we will memory hole every time that we have not hit one. And we will pretend that this is the only one that has ever mattered. We'll drive off into the sunset. No, we'll do one again the next day and then see if we can go 2 for 2 and stake our claim as, in the history books.
This is for FanDuel for Dinger Tuesday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me load my model and find out where my lines are. You seeing any?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay. Okay.
I got something.
All right.
Now I just got to make sure that it is strong enough across these books as far as the odds that we're getting. But
all right, here we go. My stuff's running right now, so I have everything we need.
okay. Chat's hitting us with Bohm.
Oh, I got a big one right away.
El Negro Loco. That's something you've never heard before. Yordan Alvarez, Salvador Perez for Muhammad. It is Dinger Tuesday. Shit, I forgot. So it's Dinger Tuesday, which means you got the awesome home run promo on. Did you see the one they offered me the other day? Bet $25 and get a 1 cent bonus bet. Did you see that?
No.
Right? I thought you liked it.
Did I? I do like blindly sometimes.
Yeah, it was like saying, for every home run hit today, you get 50 cents or whatever. It's like, cause they change it based on.
They give you a bonus of a penny?
It said, and then it said like next steps, bet $25 on a same game parlay. And then it said get 1 cent bonus bet.
I basically don't have a ton of positive value, but I have one unequivocally that we should be taking. No one said it in chat either.
Hit me.
Pete Alonso.
You love going to old Pete.
I do. Today's the day though.
Against Louis Heel?
Plus 500. Give me it. That's the play. It already won. So you should be able to cash it out immediately.
In what sense?
I'm just trying to be really hopeful. It's a terrible spot other than the park.
Well, it's a good park, lefty and righty power. So there's that. Louis Seal has had some meltdowns at times as well.
It's not against righties.
It's true.
I like Lubob at plus 420.
Do you have any Toronto bats against Alexander? Alexander looking like the probable long relief guy.
No.
Lefty giving up over 2 home runs per 9 to righties.
I don't. I got Tampa bats. I mean, I got mine in for Alonso, so it's on you.
All right. All right.
Need you to participate.
Well, yes, of course. Uh,
All the best lines are at BetMGM.
oh, by the way, over at Odd Shopper, we have Pete Alonso as a plus EV spot as well on FanDuel.
What I
So
tell you.
the stars are aligning here. Let me go to Odd Shopper and type in home run bets real quick.
Okie dokie. Yeah, if you want to bet home runs today, though, BetMGM is the spot. Every one of their lines are better than everybody else's.
Which is surprising. Usually FanDuel's got some good stuff. What do we got on where is that? Hold on. What do we got on Ian Happ against Colin Rea? I might go with that, honestly.
Go for it.
Except it looks way better on Caesars. Plus 550. We have true odds at 524. So if you're using your boost on Caesars, your 25% homer boost, right now, the two that look the best are Newt Bar and Ian Happ. Both of them are grading out really well in the Odd Shopper tools. Real well. We have Pete Alonso on FanDuel. Let me go off the board a little bit here. You know what? Hold on. Alonso's 500. Give me Tyler O'Neill. Let me just make sure that this is best odds on FanDuel.
290. They're a little bit better on BetMGM, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, this was like 330 earlier in the day.
Tyler Fitzgerald is plus 830. I got a value on that. If you're looking for somebody just named Tyler.
Well, you know what?
Tyler Xander.
No, it's funny because people in chat have been talking about this all morning, that he's been on a heater. Good park.
Oh, Bill Miner said Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Throw him in. Great odds on FanDuel compared to the rest. Wow.
I have him as one of my better options.
Let's do it. Let's throw Fitzgerald in there. Good homer park. Landon Knack isn't someone you're super worried about. Okay. We need one more to get the three. This is going to be a really long odds home run. Let me see if I can find someone with a bit shorter odds, Josh.
How about Lou Bob at plus 420? How about no, Scott?
Who's he facing?
Who's pitching for Texas?
Gray.
John Gray.
All right. I actually don't hate it.
He doesn't give up enough power to righties. 150 x ISO.
Hold on. We'll get out of here in 2 seconds. Let's find one more. Pitchers giving up the most power. Oh, you know what? We should look to Houston, Oakland.
Okay.
See if we can get some value here. Because El Negro Loco said Alvarez. We can look at the odds on that.
Best line I have is it's probably Alvarez plus 280.
That's not terrible.
Let's throw Alvarez in. I think he's the best option here.
You want to?
Yeah.
Let's do that because this game I think could be sneaky productive.
There we go. 10 to win 2,200.
It's funny. We end up right around there every time.
Sure do.
Alonso, Fitzgerald, Alvarez plus 22,000. Oh, you said 10 to win 2,200. Got you.
Yeah.
There you're saying the odds. All right, lock it up. I'll get it in. I'll throw a 10 spot on that just because you never know what could happen. Tomorrow, I assume we might have strategy show or live before live. I was going to say, I'll be more prepared. I totally forgot about doing this today.
Tomorrow.
We'll definitely have live before live.
Probably, yeah.
We will. And it might actually be a 12-20 or a 12-20 lock.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Just do like an 11:30 to 12:20 show, or 11 o'clock to 12. Yeah. All right. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. As always, let's go. Have a good night. Come hit us up on Twitter. We'll shoot the shit, sweat these, and see you back here tonight, live before live. Greg and Eric. Peace.